Trollkors. A Trollkors is an amulet worn to ward off trolls. It's made of iron, forged into a loop with little loop legs, looking something similar to the Othala rune. I've seen many people wearing it recently, so let's discuss the origin and why it's still valid despite being very modern. Like about 30 years modern. I couldn't find the exact date, but the first Troll's Cross was forged by Swedish smith Kari Erlens, who said she found the original in her grandparents' barn. But the artifact has never been seen, only recreations of Kari's original design. And no others exist in the archaeological record. Her first Troll Cross was produced sometime in the 1990s. I'm older than this symbol. So why is it still valid? Well, for one, age doesn't make something more valid. The history of a thing can definitely add to it, but there are many great things and ideas that improve our lives that are fairly new. The Icelandic Galdrastafir, for example, are from a late medieval grimoire, combining some of the local beliefs and practices with the dominant Christian beliefs of the era. This chimeric syncretism is common throughout history. One prerequisite for the Troll Cross is that it must be made of iron. Iron, in many cultures around the world, is thought to dispel malevolent magics, or harm some magical beings. Thor's hammer was forged from an iron rod. Irish lore has Fae being harmed and repelled by iron, referenced in this hilarious scene in the Hellboy comic.
I don't know, you look pretty good to me. Yes you do. Is your mean old mother crazy? I think she is. I've got something for you. What do babies like? Babies like iron.
Yeah, I'm found out. This scene is recreated in the David Harbour Hellboy. Seriously though, if you dig folklore and mythology, Hellboy is great. And despite shallow reviews, the David Harbour movie is more true to the comic. But I digress. In Tibet, it was believed that sky iron, iron from meteorites, was connected to Vajra, a type of weapon. If you've seen my Thor video, you're aware that Indra, the Vedic thunder god, carried a Vajra, much like Thor's hammer. In 79 AD, Pliny the Elder wrote, in Natural History 34, chapter 44,
"Iron is employed in medicine for purposes besides that of making incisions. For if a circle is traced with iron, or a pointed weapon is carried 3 times around them, it will prevent infant and adult from all noxious influences. If nails too, that have been extracted from a tomb, are driven into the threshold of a door, they will prevent nightmare."
Nightmare, if you're unaware, comes from mare, a type of horse-legged sleep paralysis demon in Nordic folklore. In 1648, Robert Herrick wrote, in Another Charm for Stables,
"Hang up hooks and shears to scare, hence the hag that rides the mare, till they be all over wet, with the mire and the sweat. This observe, the manes shall be, of your horses all not free."
The reader is told to hang up hooks and shears to prevent the horses from being ridden by witches at night. And in 1691, Robert Kirk also wrote, "The Tremontanes to this day put bread, the Bible, or a piece of iron in a woman's bed." The intention being, this keeps the fair folk away from newborns, not unlike the Gruagok in Hellboy, though Gruagok in actual lore are supposed to be nice despite their appearances. Not an uncommon thing in Irish lore. Pretty can equal doom, and ugly fae are nice. Something moral lesson, you get the idea. Now, while trolls themselves aren't typically vulnerable to cold iron, troll is actually a very broad term. They don't fit neatly into the ontological categories of modern Tolkien-inspired fantasy. Anyone on the outskirts of society could be seen as a troll, and trolldom is used as a pejorative term for magic. Many will-working wise folk could be seen on the fringes of society. So, given iron's penchant for disrupting magic, something which Kabbalistic texts also warn against as it may ground Earth's magical powers, iron itself seems imperative when forging and wearing this ward. Another interesting parallel is shears. Iron scissors, if you'll recall from my vampire video, are supposed to stop Draugr, or at least slow them down. The crossed over shape could have been a misunderstood pair of antique shears that Kari Erlens saw in her grandparents' barn. It's hard to say, but if you squint a little, I could see a childhood memory warping one object into another. Crosses also have an interesting history. Gods like Hecate and Hermes had shrines at crossroads, and some modern folktales speak of demons at crossroads. intersections and liminal spaces having access beyond the veil. And of course, the Sun Cross, that likely inspired that little T all those church ladies are wearing. And of course, if enough people believe in something, it can create an egregore, an occult concept that if enough people come together, their belief can become sentient. So yes, the Trollkors is modern, but it's also got a lot of symbolism behind it, and ultimately, its value to you is informed by your gnosis. Something doesn't need to be ancient to be valid.
Scar!
I'd love to take your word for it, but you know what? There's one problem, I'm just not stupid! You slippery little bastard!